heisters, and welcome to a new snapshot at Overkill. Today we're talking about the papercraft figures you already saw, like all the papercraft we have in the last day released. With me today, David and Kim from KUF Design. What is KUF Design? What are you doing?
KUF is, in Swedish, it means oddball. We are a design agency that focus a lot on mixing digital and physical, and we have this fetish for paper.
What was your initial thought when it came to doing heisters with masks and weapons and stuff?
Well, yeah, the first we were really excited because this is a wonderful opportunity. You know, it's a great community, really dedicated community, and it's also a great game. And so we really had to go into the research, finding out as much as we can of really get into this world, which was in the beginning unknown to us.
Yeah, we always do research, but I mean, in this case, we actually had to walk around and see how everything is over there, and then translate that over to the physical world. It was pretty cool.
What was the biggest challenge when it came to creating these paper figures?
And I think one of the largest challenges was it's quite easy to make a paper figure with glue, but we decided to just eliminate stuff. So we just went full on and reinvented some paper crafting. We actually made some tabs and locks that are specifically done for Payday. So it's quite a lot of paper engineering behind the figures, just making it easy.
What do you think was the most fun part?
I think it's these small little victories when we're creating these paper figures, because we have to print them out and prototype ourselves. It's when we're testing it and we realize yes.
Yeah.
And it's also making when the mask slides down on the head. You know, that's when you're just yes.
That's so satisfying.
It's like this is fun.
So yeah, it was a fun time. I really hope the community is enjoying it as much as we do. We can't wait to see how you create your own locations, probably tweaking a bit around like you do it with the game as well. And so upload your photos, your scenes you're creating, and that's it for today. So thanks for tuning in and see you soon.
So we can pretty much confirm a lot of things from the footage here. By the way, welcome back to another Payday video. There's a dog. There's a dog there. And the dog. So we can see in this image we got a headless dozer, we got Wolf, we got Bonnie, we got Jacket. I think Bonnie and, well, these three have been confirmed or have been released. Wick hasn't. And the Headless Dozer certainly hasn't.
And stuff.
Well, yeah, the first we were...
So we might actually get more papercraft, paper game characters soon.
Really excited
AK.
Because...
Let's see, Chains is confirmed. I think we already have Houston, now I think about it. There's a Cloger, a Bulldozer, Bodie, some other people there.
This is a wonderful opportunity. You know, it's a great community.
Though I don't really understand why we have to have a saw in jewelry store, guys. Come on, guys. Let's see here. Is there anything else hidden within this little? No, I don't think there. I don't think there is. Oh well. Yeah, also, Overkill, just as a question, why is it called Snapshot 2 when that was Snapshot 2? Shouldn't there be a fix there, or no? Okay. Anyways, welcome back to another Payday video. Today we are on day nothing. Wow. Guys, we did it. There is absolutely nothing. Oh, there we go. We got something. We found stuff. We're on day 7 now. Also, Overkill has changed day 8's page again by not only just getting rid. Well, they pretty much get rid of They got rid of the mask pack and they put in day 6. So we're just getting AI features, cosmetic feature, and community safe on that day. And then day 10 is new heist and mask pack. So what are we getting from this one? well, let's see. We got a cloaker, which was pretty much confirmed. We got ourselves a rust here. We got ourselves a loot bag, an AK, a rats. We got Scarface here with his little Thanatos. We got a dragon that's being dragon. Let's see here. So, Veterans Day in the kitchen. Experience and wisdom are key to being a good heister when you are not a young busboy anymore. You can cook with calmness and sincerity, like a true sous chef. Some might laugh at aging heisters, but as they used to both throwing a punch as well as receiving one, you might not laugh for long. The masterminds behind the paper game. Tutorial here. Snapshot 2. It's 2 right there, guys. 2. It's the second one. It's kind of like it's a prequel squeakle. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, here we got the AK rifle, pretty easy. The cloaker is the hardest thing that we've seen so far. It is one down difficulty of paper crafting, man. Look at that. You got so many things. You got to put that thing on. He's got to put the belt on. He's got to put headphones on now. He's got to put on the goggles, the whatever the heck that is. You got to put on his arms. It's just so confusing. Then we got Dragon here. He's pretty overkill. The loot bag, on the other hand, is pretty mayhem. Rats is very hard, and well, Russ is pretty mayhem too. Then we get Scarface here, which he's pretty mayhem too. I don't know how he is. And then the Thanatos is just a 2. Yep. So that's pretty much about it. I guess we can go into here for a bit. Day 7. All right. Next ingredient. What's good, heisters? Sunday, the perfect day to relax and get some cooking done. And who could be better for this job than our beloved drug lord himself, Scarface, joins the paper crew. With him, to make sure he doesn't get interrupted by cloakers, Rust and Dragon, armed with AKs and the Thanatos, grab your loot bags and join the party. Day 7 of the search for Kento is live. Okay, I don't need to read any of that. Okay, just gonna like that post because why the heck not? And yeah, there's really nothing else though. Of course, if you want, you can look at their feet and see what the next puzzle is, but we should probably focus on the puzzle when we get to day 9, you know? Which is actually coming up in a few days, so... Well, in 2 days, you know. But anyways, let's take a look. So, a recent Reddit, I guess you could say post, was a Q&A from... I don't know how to say his name, so I'm not going to butcher it. An Overkill employee, which I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with, did a Q&A, bunch of questions, but this person made a summary of that, and we're going to go over it right here and now. Gave an amazing Q&A yesterday, answering a staggering amount of questions for about 4 hours. I'll try to highlight some of the important things he mentioned. Payday 3, Storm, Payday Mobile, and Overkill's The Walking Dead are not a part of the discussion, and no questions would be asked except that it's coming and Payday 3 will have Diesel. Well, that's a problem right there. That can't be true. That in no way possible can be true. So we're already putting, just taking a part of this, I guess you could say, discussion. So, first of all, Payday 3, we all know that it's coming soon, but it's not important to this discussion. Storm, for those people who don't know, was an old game that was announced. It was practically kind of like a, from the looks of it, kind of looked like a Firefly, kind of like space bounty hunter kind of oriented. And it hasn't been talked about for a long time. It's been kind of like I don't know, it's been a talked about project, but not, it's, you know, basically it's been a thing and nobody has really talked about it. Payday Mobile, I guess people have actually played this game, and it's basically a poor version of Payday. So, I don't know, if you want to play a poor version of Payday on your phone, go ahead. And Overkill's The Walking Dead. It should be coming out after Overkill is done making Payday 2 or stops supporting Payday 2, because here's what I like to believe that they're going to do is, because we only have two classic heists left, unless if they want to bring back some of the other old ones, like the Agit heist technically was a Pay the Heist map that just could never work until they decided to for Wick. But Overkill's The Walking Dead, last news we ever heard about it was at, I think, wasn't Payday Con, I think it was PAX or something. But they had a booth and they were doing some VR testing for Overkill's The Walking Dead. Now, if they do not have an option for players who do not have VR headsets, like if they say, oh well, this is a VR only game, then they have just lost many of their fans, really. I mean, the problem is that not everybody can buy a VR headset. And I know we're going to say, oh, well, you're just, you're complaining when you can obviously get one. But that's the thing. If I don't really like VR anyways. I haven't, tested it out, but it just doesn't seem really like my thing. But I really want to play Overkill's The Walking Dead game. It shouldn't have to be, oh, well, this is a VR only game. That shouldn't be an option. That's why I was upset about the John Wick game when I first heard that they were making that. Though, now that I looked at it, it was just a wave shooter, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm just saying that this is just kind of sad if they do go in the direction of, oh, it's a VR only game. Because then, I mean, they lost my vote, so, yeah. Also, Payday 3, for it to say, actually, hold on, let's turn this down. You guys probably can't hear me, but anyways, for him to say that the Payday 3 will have Diesel is the biggest mistake they could have said, that he could have said. Now, two reasons why. The main reason is because it's been said that Payday 3 will run on the Valhalla engine that they have recently either made or bought. I'm not entirely sure. But even then, it's just like, you shouldn't run Diesel. You just shouldn't. And not to say that Diesel is a horrible engine, it did the best it could, but from what Seth and many other people have told me, Diesel engine was not built for FPS, was not built for RPG. I'm not saying RPG elements, let's go with that, and first person shooters. If I remember correctly, it was for like adventure type games, like down perspective type games, I think. But yeah, the Diesel engine is already breaking as it is, and to say, oh yeah, we're going to use Diesel is a horrible decision. The Valhalla engine, I mean, we haven't even seen it, but it'll probably be better than the Diesel engine as is right now, because the problem with the Diesel engine is that they've updated this engine for about, well, let's see, I'm pretty sure Diesel 1 or something, I don't know, I guess people can correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure an older version or the current version that we have right now from Diesel was in the original game. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about that, but basically what I'm saying here is that they've been working on this engine for so long, working on with this engine for this game about 5 to 4 years now, and it's about to break. And with the amount of mod support, which fairly little, but struggling, it just doesn't work. It's not an engine that works as, it just shouldn't be worked on anymore. And not to say it's a horrible engine, it's just not, it can't handle the amount of content and everything that they've done so far with it. Because it's slowly breaking. I mean, everybody can see that. But yeah, moving on from that, we got Infamy 3 and character boosts are being delayed and reworked due to the poor reception from the Twitch stream. Do we watch the same Twitch stream? Because it actually looked pretty good to me. I mean, to be honest, the whole character boost idea seemed like a pretty good idea for the more hardcore players, you know, that want to boost themselves and be powerful and everything, but also still have a challenge. But, you know, I think the main problem is that I don't really know what the main problem was, but I think what people I'm guessing had a problem with was the other dudes. I can't remember if it was Timmy. I'm pretty sure it was either Timmy or Jimmy's system, but the one that was just like, oh, you keep leveling and get masks. It's like, so one system just gives me cosmetics and the other gives me boosts to be powerful. I think they need to rework. I don't know. I mean, I guess they could rework a bit, but I was fine with the system that they even brought up. So, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll have to see what they come up with next and see if it's good or not. Crime Spree has a strong focus with the game currently with optimization and increasing the levels, modifiers, and rewards. So far, Crime Spree has been, I think, a good element into the game. I've heard a few issues here and there. Currently, what we have found out is that the black and white system is currently broken. I mean, if you're not counting how many downs you're getting, then you're going to go down into custody, because apparently the filters, right, this is the problem that we should have all seen, somehow affect the, I guess, basically what makes the black and white system happen. So, because technically the black and white system is its own filter on itself, so to have multiple filters going on, it just doesn't really work apparently. But they're thinking about, I don't know, I think they're making a fix for it soon. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see here. He is not very pleased with one down and would like the game to evolve in a softer game balance, not so reliant on skill selection. But that's the point of one down. The problem is that you've made one down the way it is. One down is supposed to be the hardest, well, it is the hardest difficulty now. And the only way to play it is if you have absolute focus with a team, or you just run a dodge build. There is no going around it. Like, you've made one down what it is. I'm not saying that, you know, one down is bad. I think it's an alright difficulty. I mean, if people are looking for an actual challenge, then go for it. But it's not even reliant on skills. It's also reliant on the guns that you bring. At this point, you've made it skill reliant and gun reliant, because there are only a few weapons that you can actually bring on one down to be like, oh, well, shoot, these are the only ones. And here's the thing, I was talking about this with a fan yesterday. I think he's a fan, I don't know. He joined the group to wanted to do some Crime Spree stuff, which unfortunately, due to your issues overkill, has made it hard for me to even join him, but we'll get to that in a second. So, yeah, we were talking, and I basically said that your gun system has no variety anymore. Either all the guns are crap at this point, and there's only a few that are good. The only ones that are good, the only two assault rifles that I know that are good is the M308 and the Little Friend. Not to say that that's bad, because they deserve their place right there, and their damage is completely fine. But for the rest of the rifles, you need to up to at least 50 to 60 damage, not make them an SMG. Because if you make them an SMG, then there is absolutely no difference to that. Now, I can understand if you want to make the starter guns have lower damage. Completely understandable. That's how usually games work. That's how a lot of game systems work. You start off with the crappy stuff, and then get better stuff later on. Or even then, get somewhat, all right, well, this one does this and this one does that, it has different variety. But you don't have variety anymore. There are I need to think for a second. You have guns in this game that are the staple of what to play, basically. I mean, at this point, my build always consists of the little friend and the judge shotgun. Not to say that they should be changed, but those are the only guns I ever use. Heck, I used to use an M308 and a locomotive because I hate using the judge all the time, but, well, shoot, the judge is good and the locomotive is good, but one does more damage, which is fine because the locomotive has pretty good damage and it should stay that way, but there's just it's not like, you would think that an AK, right, an AK would do somewhat of a better damage, but no, it's the same one as an SMG or an LMG, like any other weapon does the same amount of damage. Pistols apparently do more damage. In all reality, pistols shouldn't be doing as much damage, except for magnums. Magnums are even higher weapons, because technically a Desert Eagle is a magnum. But it's just like, and not to say that pistols are bad, because they have pretty good damage, but they shouldn't have the same amount as, they shouldn't be higher than an assault rifle, because that's an assault rifle. But yeah, so basically your gun system is just broken. And not even get me started with the melee system, because yes, you updated the melee system to be quote unquote better, which it currently is and isn't. You made some weapons actually do more damage and actually have a purpose again, but that still doesn't change the fact that you still have a bunch of melees within the game that do almost all the same damage, have all the same stats. And not to say all of them, but some of them are still doing the same amount of damage and same stuff. I honestly would like, and I'm not here to say that, oh, well, you could do more with Payday 2, because I doubt that you can. I'm not saying that it's your fault. It's just, you've worked on this diesel engine for so much. You've made the game, it's almost 4 years and your time is already up. Your time is, well, not already up, but slowly at the end of this year, you'll be done with this game and moving on to a different game. What I'm saying is that if you make Payday 3, which I know you want to, and I know you're making Overkill's The Walking Dead, hopefully, that you should make a melee system, especially for the Walking Dead game, more melee variant, because in zombie games, what they've always messed up is the fact that apparently ammo is just everywhere. Now, I'm not saying that ammo needs to be super scarce, but don't make it like, oh, yeah, almost in everything you'll find ammo. You'll find ammo in a baby seat, right? What I'm saying is that you should make a melee system in The Walking Dead, pretty much a very, heavy system. Make sure that it's got good, melee system, and, make the gun system good. But add some variety with the melee weapons too, because if you have a phone in the game, right, but then you also have a hook, right, that you release with the Yatchet heist, the John Wick heists, maybe do a skill, right? And here's the thing, because I know a lot of people can complain and say, oh, well, you need to do a separate button for this. But whatever you can do, maybe have the hook stun an enemy and like grab his arm, right? And then you can shoot him. It seems pretty reasonable to me. You hook the guy's arm, he's stunned for a bit because, he has a hook in his arm, and then you shoot him in the head. There are many things that you can do with melees, but it's just, there is no, like for instance, the Shadow Raid melee weapon that you introduced. That thing just does nothing. Does absolutely nothing except for, go swish swish. It doesn't like cut up body parts or anything. Just nah. But it just doesn't seem like you. It just doesn't seem like you have a good melee system either. It just doesn't. So that's mainly why One Down is so reliant on skill, not on just skill, but also weapons. Certain weapons can only go into One Down, and that's fine, alright? I can understand One Down because it's the hardest difficulty, but when you have like Mayhem and you can't bring an AK half of the time, or even Death Wish, it just seems kind of like you just don't have any variety with guns anymore. Alright, so let's move on. More Mega Masks will be coming, but no DLCs. Similar to the completely overkill will happen again. No more paycheck masks, however. So, let me get this straight. For people who are fans of the four main characters, you're not going... I mean, it's understandable because you can't, because it's a completely overkill pack. You've already made other masks, like a bunch of community masks, like the Kawaii mask, the Mega... what is it? Mark, and, you know, Gauge Blade. But... Just no DLC oriented, because what you're doing right now is completely fine, right? The Clover mask was, you know, an exclusive. The Sydney mask was an exclusive, which isn't really exclusive because you can still donate, which is good, and you should, honestly, but that's up to you, I guess. But the thing that you're doing with the Mega Rust is actually pretty good, because it gives people a more reason to do, it gives people more of a reason to do Crime Spree. But however you do, you know, however many you put in, just, you know, be careful, because if you do them DLC oriented again, you're dividing the game community by doing that. Not too much, but also no more paycheck masks. Okay, I didn't really care for them anyways. So, mod support is something the team is looking at, but currently not a high priority. No, that's completely understandable. Hold on, I'll be right. Do I have any water here? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. You gotta understand, it's like 27 minutes long. But the thing is, right, is mod support at this point, it just, I don't think you can do it with the diesel engine, because if you do that, then people are going to break the diesel engine by putting too many mods in. It's just, I don't know. But I don't really see it as a high priority either, but that's just me. And a lot of people are going to say, well, didn't you used to, you know, love mods? And, you know, here's the thing about mods. When I originally played Payday, I had no mods. I didn't know how to mod. During that time, it was like, oh, Hawk's HUD was all the rave, right? Hawk's HUD was the only HUD you could get and be like, oh, shoot. Man, you have Hawk's HUD? Dang, man. But nowadays, having a HUD is just like, oh, alright. I mean, nobody even talks about Hawk's HUD anymore. Hawk's HUD's Paco HUD, Hawk's HUD. Like, I can't think of any of the original HUDs that are still today. Of course, there is Payday the Heist HUD, but that's slowly going downhill. A bit, I guess. But, you know, I still enjoyed it. You know, mainly nowadays, it's Wolf HUD that is the rave. And not my Wolf HUD, but pretty good Wolf HUD. People are going to say, what? There used to be a different one? Yes, there used to be a different Wolf HUD that then got a copyright claim, I guess. And the dude deleted his whole, like, the group and the HUD. It was a very sad day. But, yeah. And the thing is that I don't really see a point in doing mods anymore. Not to say that, you know, I don't care about them. It's just the mods that I see nowadays are just like, oh, you know, we put this in the game now. Isn't this funny? This is meme-oriented. It's like, I've always seen, and, you know, modification, mods. There's nothing wrong with you making a meme mod. It's completely fine if you want to. You know, just don't, I guess, you know, hurt anyone by doing it. But I've always wanted, you know, mods that actually helped the game or made the game different in a big way. Like, heck, I really love Pay the Heist HUD, I love better bots. I love a bunch of HUDs that gave me, a more, I guess, advantage within the game that helped out my team more by calling out, oh, this is how many of these guys, this is how many of these guys. And, there's more helpful mods, I guess. And the silly ones are fine, but when you just have all silly ones, it just turns into, it just doesn't look good to me. But that's just my personal opinion. I can understand if people like having a bunch of different mods, a bunch of silly ones, and that's fine, I'm not trying to say that, your opinion's wrong, but it's my, we all have opinions. And you know what? Let's not fight each other over it. Let's have a calm discussion and, not fight. Let's just calm discussion. So, moving on from that, weapon balance is important focus right now. He wants a general equal balance where a meta doesn't really exist. Well, I can't think of any game that has game balance that good, where there is no meta, that everybody has, can do everything with everything. Here's the thing, and I'm going to bring up a good and also bad point. But in CSGO, there is a meta. There is a strict meta within CSGO, and so far as I know, because I know a lot of CSGO people right now, if they ever see my channel, which, hello, and goodbye after this, they're probably saying right now, there is no meta. The meta that I've seen from CSGO is this. You usually have, maybe 2 silent M4s, 2 loud M4s, and 1 op guy, or 2 ops, around there. And then on the other side is a bunch, ops and AKs, or SGs, I guess, I don't really see any real change. I mean, people, depending on how the game is played, and this is really where my theory or statement kind of falls apart, but depending on how the game plays, because it's a more PvP game, and it's round based, right? It has there's economics within it. There's a money structure. You kill people, you get money, you die, you lose your weapons, and you lose your money, right? Pretty simple, economy system. So to bring that into Payday, it just kind of falls apart, but there is somewhat of a meta within CSGO, so far as I know, and, people can prove me wrong, but that's just from what I've seen, and, I could be wrong, but, again, that's just what I've from seen and how I feel. When you go into Payday 2, the meta is, with assault rifles, it's either Little Friend, for people who have bought that DLC, or the M308, hands down. Sniper rifles, you don't really bring one because you have the M308. Shotguns, the only real shotgun that is good is the Raven or the biker gun. But even then, people will just buy the Judge or Locomotive. Light machine guns, they don't have a meta. Specials, a bunch of bows. Yeah, tell me how that makes sense. In a world where it's guns and robbing banks, a bow is the most sensible weapon to bring because it has the most damage. Wow. And people ask me why I hate bows. Because it doesn't make any sense to have bows. Let's see, what else is there? Akimbos, half of the Akimbos do the same amount of damage and have weird pricing issues when the cost of 2 guns is cheaper than 1 singular weapon. I could buy 2 Deagles for a lower price than just it cost me to buy a Desert Eagle. What kind of logic is that? Let's see, is there any other ones? SMGs don't really have a meta because, well, the thing is that you made, and here's the thing, I honestly like the idea of what you've done with SMGs. There are two different SMGs. There are ones that have high ammo but low damage, completely fine. And then there are ones that have high damage but low ammo, completely fine. Though some of the guns that you've done that with, I don't necessarily agree with, like the Bison, or the, I guess, but I'm not going to complain over that. I mean, they seem to be doing good, so. And then in shotgun secondaries, everybody knows what the meta is for that. Judge or Locomotive. And then in pistols, it's the Jericho. Pretty much. It's the Jericho and should be always the Jericho. But yeah, that's really the meta within Payday. I mean, people could probably tell me a few other things of like, oh, this too. You know, I mean, also the meta is dodge for everybody. You know, almost every player uses dodge. I'm more of an armored player, but I can see the usefulness of dodge, but just don't stop helping out dodge people. They're fine. They don't need more. If anything, I think armored players should get more, but that's just me. So, yeah. I usually run an anarchist build. I get 400 armor, you know. I only have 100 health. I used to bring flashbangs, but now I'm using these incendiary grenades, which apparently are actually good. And before everybody's like, oh, but they get rid of the usefulness of Molotovs. There's a difference between the incendiary grenades and Molotovs. Incendiary grenades work as a flashbang. You throw them down, they have a flash, but the flash is more like basically an explosion fire. I guess it's hard to explain, but it works like a flash and a Molotov, but depending on what people are in the area, it will set them on fire. The thing about the Molotov, on the other hand, is anybody that runs through it, you know, it's an instant, like, if anybody fires at it, it will instantly explode. But once it hits the ground, it's going to go, you know, fire, right? And anybody that runs by that fire is going to catch on fire. So it's a more longer version of incendiary grenades, you know. Or I guess I should say incendiary grenades are pretty much a shorter version and more, I guess, depending on where you throw them, version of Molotovs, but that's just up to you. Plus, I didn't really like Molotovs anyway because I find them completely useless, but that's just me. The only reason why I ever used them was because of Grinder, but... Alright. Let's see here. What else? Game optimization is also a huge focus. They want a smoother running game with fewer and fewer bugs as time goes on. Additionally, they are looking at how the game unpacks and updates and are attempting to fix this. Well, let's start off. A smoother running game, that would be nice, but the engine you're currently on is, you know, slowly breaking. So... And the thing is that you can't fix bugs as time goes. I mean, you can, but as soon as you release... I mean, this is just, you know... This has happened in almost every game that has been made, is that once something comes out... Look at Bethesda. They are the most well-known people for having day one bugs. And bugs that are still in the game. But, you know, do people complain about them? Well, not really. Well, they should, but not really. But yeah, it's just like, you can't, when you release a DLC, you're bound to get bugs, and I can understand. I am not saying that this is bad, but you're bound to have bugs almost every time you release something, you know? And, you know, good job. I'm not saying this is bad. You should be able to fix all the bugs, you know, not all of them, but at least as much as you can before the game is done. You know, that way people have a smoother experience when they're done. Or when you're done with the game and, you know, people play it afterwards, you know. I hope I don't make this too long because then it has to be like a two-parter because, you know, reasons. Let's going to move the screen a bit here. Alright, so then all classic heists will be remade. Good. Really looking forward to that. Really want a new No Mercy and a fully stealthable diamond heist. Really looking forward to that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's really nothing to say there. I mean, they could also release the Crane or some other maps that were in Pay the Heist that never actually made it. let's see. The person really likes dedicated servers, but sadly Payday 2 cannot implement them now. Payday 3 maybe? The thing about dedicated servers, and the reason why a lot of people want them, is because they see it as a way to escape from the desync and lag issues that they have. Because how Payday works, and if you don't know how Payday works, and this is another way to tell it, because in CSGO, there are dedicated servers that you can see. And the reason why is because if you go to view players that you're currently playing with on your Steam overlay, it shows you all the players that you're playing with currently or before. Now, Payday has this too, but not in a big way. When you go check, it doesn't show anyone that you're currently playing with. But if you go to players that you've met because of the Steam client, register Steam IDs and have to go through, basically show you the people you've played with, because they don't have dedicated servers on Payday 2. If they did, this might actually be a more easier time and less lag issues and more fun, but they can't do this with Payday 2 because the system that they currently have, and so far I've always had, so far as I know, is that whoever is host is running the game. The person with that, the person that is host, their internet connection is what runs the quote-unquote lobby/server that other people will join. Those are the clients. The clients will get as much info as they can, information about the game, the internet, all that, and, as best as they can. A dedicated server, you just have dedicated servers, and no one has really any issues, unless the dedicated servers are broken. But, then you blame whoever made the dedicated servers instead of the server host. So, okay. Moving on. We got no tier 7 skills currently. Why would we need tier 7 skills? You would have to put more skill points within the game, which honestly I don't think you should. He likes the idea of cable tie asset. I mean, this has been an idea that has been thrown around for a very long time. I think since the start of Payday, at least year 1 or 2, but yeah, a cable tie asset has been talked about for a very long time. But the thing is that it would most likely be in bags. And I see the system like this. It works like body bags. And so far as I know, the max cable ties you can get, right? Not the ones that it gives you like over time, but the max ones you start off with the ace skill is 6, right? So I see it like body bags, where it gives you 3 per pickup, or it's just a bag of like 3 cable ties, right? Just something like that. Maybe like 2, 3, however many cable ties, but it can't go over like 4, because then that's just like, that's basically 12 cable ties. Just a rough number that makes sense, but it's not too, I guess, overpowered. All right, moving on from this, we got a map editor is not being worked on, nor are there plans in the future. Well, there is already a map editor, but that's a mod, and nobody has really used that thing, so, yeah. The reason why Overkill is not going to release a map editor right now, is because they are afraid of this. People might use in-game assets to basically recreate heists, DLC heists, and then, basically ruin the point of getting DLC heists, mainly. And a lot of people say, well, I mean, it will extend life, like Left 4 Dead. The thing about Left 4 Dead is that I'm pretty sure Left 4 Dead didn't have any real DLC. I don't think they even had DLC. And they released the game as is, with a few updates later on, and update it occasionally when they think they need to. But the reason of the workshop is because they don't want to put in maps. They want it to be more community side. So they let the community make their own maps, and some of the maps are good. Some of the maps are complete bonkers, but, And the thing is that I know Overkill would love players to make heists. The only problem is that they're afraid that people will just recreate DLC heists for free within breaking in the terms of almost everything that I know about from Payday 2. Like back in the day on back in the day of Last Bullet, there was a rule where you could not release any piece of content that was paid within Overkill. Like, a lot of people release mods on there for like, oh, well, we'll make all the skins free, was taken down, people rioted, saying that this isn't fair. The problem is that you are basically stealing the income, or basically stopping their income from the safes and drills, which a lot of people are going to get upset at me for, because I'm now, from people's eyes, supporting their actions of the safe and drills, which I'm okay with. I just, didn't really like the stat boost. But at this point, it's fine. They're not that big of a deal anymore. Calm down. Now, it's just, yeah. You just could not make any piece of content. Like, I still have this because I found it very interesting. And I like to keep it for, I don't know, just like, I guess to prove it as evidence one day. Like, here, hold on. Hopefully this isn't okay. Well, let's see here. Going to downloads. I still have this. Go here. Which desktop is it in? Is it? Okay. So, right. Hold on. Let me close this. There's really no point in doing this, but nah, you're fine. You're not seeing anything. So right here, this file, right? This little file right here. If we open this up, Psychopath 3. Someone made a mod to make Psychopath free. It just doesn't work, because you're basically kind of stealing content. And, people won't see it as that way, which I understand, but you just cannot do that. Let's see, where were we? Oh yeah, the map player. Next, more Revolver updates are coming, possibly with armor penetration and or akimbo. Well, that would be nice, because all the mods of Revolver akimbos are complete, I guess not complete. They're just odd. Let's say that. They're just not. They're not the ideal akimbo. But if you want them, they are. But they're not the ideal akimbo revolvers. Now, armor piercing would make sense for magnums, because, well, that is their specialty, is penetration through armor, and that's why they have low magazines. See, that's why a revolver makes sense to have armor piercing. Not a 5.7, which a 5.7 does actually have somewhat of an armor piercing, but it does have a high mag and not that much of a low. It does have a high mag and not that high of a damage. So, but who cares? I mean, I didn't really get into an argument, but I don't know. If this person is watching the video, was saying that like, asking me, do I understand that this actually penetrates armor and shields? Yes, but it just doesn't seem like, what's the point? Doesn't have a high enough magazine. You could just go around, stun the shield, and then shoot him. Or get a skill to. Like, I just don't see the point. There are many alternatives to deal with a shield, but for you to just basically say that this pistol is the only way to take care of shields, it's kind of sad, because it has such a low magazine. Unless if it has a high enough pickup, which is the possibility, and if it does, then that balances it out. But still, there are better alternatives than just a pistol that only has a 30 mag with, 15 shots, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't really see it as being the best weapon in the game, or will ever be a quote-unquote good gun. But that's just from my point of view. I don't know, I guess for Dodgers it's a dream, but A soundtrack update is coming. Finally. Gosh, man. Look, I've been listening to other soundtracks. I mean, of course, obviously Queen, Queen fan. But, you know, I've also been listening to the Doom soundtrack sometimes. I've been listening to Hotline Miami. Like, no hate to Simon, because Simon is brilliant at music and is going to be working on 10 Chambers game, which I also want to cover very soon, which looks, I guess so far looks amazing from the screenshots, but the soundtrack, or the one song that he released of from that game was absolutely amazing. Just brilliant. Like, he is good at making music and should, you know, continue to make money and make music. So, but, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it started to sound like the same kind of techno thing over and over again later on, and I listened to more of the old stuff that he made. Not to say that it's, you know, it's bad, it just kind of sounded the same after a while. But when they got Carl no one, I think, but the this other guy to do music, he did more guitar, kind of heavier on the guitar, which I really like. And a lot of people actually criticize him for doing the Christmas soundtrack, and then people are like, this doesn't sound Christmas at all. Or, well, not Christmas soundtrack, my bad. The Christmas song for what was its face? Basically Mall Crasher 2.0. Yeah. A lot of people were criticizing his song for saying this doesn't sound Christmas whatsoever. Well, that was kind of the point. He didn't want it to be a Christmas like stereotype song. He wanted people to listen to it throughout, you know, other time periods, not just Christmas time, which I think is actually a good way of doing that, but that's just me. But yes, the soundtrack update is needed for, I would say all of the soundtracks, the official one, the Christmas one, and the B-sides one. But that's just me. Let's see here. AI optimization is a big priority now. Well, like adding another one, like how you did in the original game, or is that a mod thing? I'm not trying to be upset. I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't really see the point of AI optimization. I mean, the AI doesn't do anything half the time. And really, when you play this game, you play it with friends, or should be, you know, or with just, you know, people that you find. I mean, heck, sometimes an AI is better than a player that will just absolutely not listen to you, but, you know, it all really depends. All right, well, let's take a quick water break here. All right. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Foregrip extensions are difficult because of the animation problems. However, it is being looked at. All right, then. Believes VR is the future of gaming and intends to keep moving forward with Star VR and future development. Now, I don't know. Is VR the future? Is it the future? Because, you know, a friend of mine actually brought up a very good point about this. VR is just kind of you putting a headset on with the screens, and it looks like you're immersed into the world. Not to say that that's bad, but he believes that holograms and like type stuff is the more of a future, which, I mean, you know, makes sense. I mean, I don't think you could really, I don't know what the future of gaming is, you know? Like, why do we have to say, oh, this is the future of gaming? Why can't we just make games and have fun and, you know, invent while we're doing it? Why do we have to say, oh, this is the future of gaming? You know, why do we have to make a staple? I don't know, that's just me. Payday 2 will not support Vulkan API. Alright, well, people can, don't worry. I'm betting people in the comments will tell me what that is, so. More mutators are coming. You know, I really should be I just realized I probably should be using those to enhance my game experience. One down is going to be reworked. You can make it easier or harder. Let's see here. let's see here. Slowly going down. All right, we don't have many things. I mean, he does says I'll update this some more as I dig through his massive amounts of responses, but this is like the main batch right here that we'll talk about. Wants every DLC meta niche to have a free content counterpart. A free GL is certainly coming. Well, let's see. We do have free assault rifles. We do have free shotguns. We do have a few free sniper rifles, or just one, I think. We do have a free LMG. We do have free specials, somewhat. We do have free secondary shotguns and pistols and submachine guns. So I guess if you want a grenade launcher, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's up to people. I don't really know if there's any other grenade launchers that you can really put in for free, but I don't know. Someone could find it. The puzzle is an intended mystery, and perhaps all the clues haven't been found yet. Oh my gosh. The puzzle is an intended mystery, and perhaps all the clues haven't been released yet. Winky face. We determined that there are some of the paper crafts have different shapes and could mean different words at the moment, so that's all we know. So yeah, someone actually did a pretty good Did a pretty good picture of all the one, like did it in categories of like this one is this one is that. I couldn't find the Reddit post. I guess I'm gonna have to look back in one of the past. I think I did it off recording. Is the sad part, but yeah. Windowless border mode is being looked at to fix. Okay. All right. That's fair. Armor skins will be added to the community workshop. That's good. Here's the thing that I would really love is that Overkill do a community mod workshop, but I wouldn't say, all right, I would like there to be a team safe, right? Like a bunch of teams, like Team Game Hog, or the Criminal Network, or many other team groups. And like if we got in there, man, I would want that in a heartbeat. No one would buy it, of course, but I would want my own armor in the game, and then I could just get it. Hopefully, that would be amazing. Let's see here. Overkill is pleased with the John Wick collaboration and intends to expand on the Continental storyline. So, yeah, a lot of people have been saying that John Wick will most likely not make a return into Payday 3. I'm betting he would, but I don't think he'll be at the start of the game, unless if they do make a deal with Lionsgate. Because technically Overkill kind of owns half of the IP a bit, because they put him in, the VR game, though, I mean, that could have just been Lionsgate being like, hey, make a VR game. But, they let them use him in this game, many of his other stuff, like the Continental, I think he'll make a return in a Payday 3. I just don't know if he'll make a return at the start, but, let's see. A flashlight attachment for the saw is a good suggestion. Is it, though? Is it really, though? Is it, though? No PvP for Payday 2. Well, you already have PvP. You put in friendly fire. Wolf's voice lines will not be updated or changed. Do people seriously not know that Wolf left? I guess if people aren't big as Payday fans as much as I am, or pay attention closely, I guess. Basically, the person who voiced Wolf was actually the original game designer and kind of maker of Payday. He did make Payday the heist, and also was the level designer and just lead designer of pretty much everything, and also worked on Payday 2. But the thing is that they treated him so badly that they made him work, I think, about a week without any sleep, I think is what I remember. But yeah, just horrible stuff, and like he had to go to a mental hospital afterwards. Like as soon as he was done, he had to go to a mental hospital because he was seeing stuff. It was not good, and that is one of the many things that I will fault Starbreeze and Overkill of, is what happened to Ulf. that can never change, really. Also, he did break his voice when singing the Christmas song for the 12 days of, I think, Xmas, I think it was. Like, he shouted so high that his voice box was starting to bleed in his throat, which he then had to go to the hospital, and he couldn't use his voice for a while. So, yeah, I miss Wolf. I love that man. He's just so awesome. He's so awesome. Miss that man. But yeah. But there has been talks about changing Wolf's voice actor, but here's the thing, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset for me saying this, but I don't think Wolf should be returning into Payday 3. Now, before you start writing the angry comments, I've said this before, the reason why is it just wouldn't work anymore. It wouldn't have the same feel as Wolf, because in my personal experience with Wolf is that I relate to the character, so much that, that's why I play the character. The character helps me through the things that I'm going through. And it's just, I don't know. The character really meant a lot to me. And I can't see anyone else playing Wolf. And I think it'd just be better if, if they want to kill him off in a blaze of glory. Or, have him return back to his wife and family or something. Don't bring him back into Payday 3. Because if you bring him back into Payday 3, you either have to do this. Either you reuse all the voice lines from the original games, and that would be a disservice to the character and to us, personally, I would think. And if you get a new voice actor, it just wouldn't have the same feel as Wolf. I could understand if you got some new guy to quote-unquote replace Wolf as a character, but don't replace Wolf's character. Don't get a new voice actor. Just get a new heister. Heck, you could Sydney. Heck, Georgia is happy to do a character. She loves Sydney. We started a petition for her to become President of the United States of America, which is entirely possible. Look, we could start a whole campaign. We could get things running. But I don't see any point to bring back Wolf. Because as much as I love the character, Wolf was Wolf. Heck, Wolf is the Swedish word for wolf. So, I don't see the point of replacing a character that won't have the same feel when you bring him back. So, that's just me, I care about the character a lot, and I'd rather see him go than carry on like a dead corpse, basically. Or you just get a new voice actor for him. That's not what I want. I want Wolf to, be on a cruise, right? He's drinking, some special stuff. Has a little hat, has a little like summer vacation type style outfit with his wolf mask. He takes it off, throws it into the ocean, and then he, hugs his daughter, hugs his wife, and then it just pans out as they are just sailing the seas to Costa Rica or something. I don't know. Hawaii. Right? See, doesn't that seem like a nice ending? He's moving on. But, yeah. I don't know. That's just me. Let's see. Crime Spree's UX is being looked at for improvements. That's good. The secret is a secret, obviously. That's the Payday 2 secret. The support content date is still currently the last, so this will be the last one. Year of the Rooster Mask is not a Mega Mask. Richards may be coming, and Heisters like sushi. And that's about it. So, also, why do I have it here? Oh. The puzzle is still going on. But, yeah, that's about it. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm going to go and do other things. But, yeah, thank you for watching. And, yeah, have a nice day.